I'm still getting used to this whole broadcasting live over multiple places thing, but it's working well. So I just wanted to take a second to talk about my experience. I don't know how else to put it. Um, I have been making movies, for those who don't know, or those who don't know me particularly well. I have been making movies pretty much my entire, I mean, no, not pretty much. I have been making movies my entire adult life. My first feature length movie was when I was 18 years old. It was called Marty Jenkins and the Vampire Bitches. A very classy title, obviously. And, and, that was the first film I ever made. Sorry, I'm getting all the settings right on this thing. So, I made my first feature when I was 18 years old, and before that, I had been making movies as a teen, short films, things like that. I actually used to make my movies, and then I would put them on DVDs, and I would sell them at my high school until I got in trouble for that. I used to walk around with two big trapper keepers. One trapper keeper full of school stuff, and one trapper keeper full of movies I was selling. And then, of course, one day I would come in and be like, why do I even have the school one? I should just bring the important one, the movie one. So... that's how it all really kind of started. And I've loved nothing more than making movies ever since. Nothing more. So all right. So I'm getting text messages as I'm live. But no, so I hope everybody that is watching this is this stream is finding you well. I just wanted to take a minute and reflect. I try to reflect every year. So I had a job that I liked okay, with possibly the worst boss you could ever have. He was a gutless, cowardly, know-it-all who wanted to be everybody's dad, but not a good dad. Usually when you get a dad that isn't your actual dad, it's a positive thing. They're like, I'm here to tell you, you can do the thing. No, my boss at my old job actually once took me aside, and I'm a man of like 26 or 25 or 26 years old. He once took me aside at work to tell me, it's great that you want to make movies and everything, but you really need to make sure you have something real to fall back on. That's such an overstepping of boundaries to tell someone like, hey, don't chase your dream. All right. Don't chase it. Don't do it. All right. So screw you, man. Thank goodness he encouraged me to just, work even harder. Cause screw that guy. Right. So I worked for him, and I wanted to tell the full story, but I'm also like dealing with some digital stuff. There we go. So he's telling me, this stuff. And then on top of that, he's just a bad boss in general. So I'm trying to make sure I'm starting at the right point. So it was a job in television, so it was vaguely related to film, but it really also wasn't. There was no encouragement to grow. There was no encouragement to make good content. In fact, often I was told to just slap a template on and move on. And at this point, so I'm 26 years old, 26 years old, 27 years old. And I'm working at this television station, making content that's pretty bad. And I'm being encouraged to do so. And I realize I can't stand my boss, and this job is making me miserable. They, of course, were working me 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. So I didn't get any benefits, but I was treated like a full-time employee. So I decide, you know what? At that point, I think I'd made 6 feature films, or 5. I'd made 5 feature films. And I was like, you know what? They're making a little bit of money. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work here all the time anymore. So I decided to do something that I would consider very safe, which is I went to my boss and I said, hey, I would like to work less hours. I'd like my hours reduced from 5 days to 2 days a week. And he said, I'll have to think about it. He made me wait a month and a half before I finally demanded an answer. He gave me the answer. Then he fired me right after my new schedule started. He claimed it was because I posted on social media that I wasn't happy with my job, which I probably did, and good. So that day, 7 years ago on this very date, I was sitting by myself, scared, wondering how I was going to pay my bills. Not that the job I had before was even paying my bills reasonably anyway, but I was scared. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And there was a moment, and it's so clear to me now. Back then it wasn't that clear, but there was a moment where all of a sudden it just kind of clicked, because I had posted on social media that I'd been let go, and I'd gotten all these wonderful comments from people saying, you gotta, take care of yourself. And then I realized, I'm going to do this full time. And to be frank, people have asked, how did you get there? How did you get to the point of making movies full time? I don't completely know. I mean, the best answer I have is I just kept making movies. And that was kind of the secret. I just kept making movies and then selling them, and then making more movies and then selling them, and then making more movies and then selling them. And that was really it. But I didn't have a long-term plan. I didn't have a goal to I'm going to be doing this full time in this amount of years. In fact, I had hoped that maybe by the time I was 40, I would somehow get to make a movie for a living, or make movies for a living. I was hoping by the time I was 40. And at this point I was, just before, I was just younger than 30. I was like 27. So thank you guys for watching live. By the way, Saint Just Germany said hi. Hello, Saint. How are you, my friend? Edward says, hey, buddy, miss you at Chiller in New Jersey. Dude, I hope I can go to Chiller again very, very soon. So John Dalton shared a YouTube link. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm not going to click on it right now because I'm in my flow. So I'm in my flow. So I decided to make movies for a living because I had to. I mean, there was no other option. St. Just Germany said, you on multiple platforms? Yes, right now I am streaming on YouTube and Facebook as well. You can find me on YouTube. I'll put the link in the chat. Oh, John said Wasteland is back. Yeah, I booked my room yesterday when I saw the announcement. I saw the announcement at 8 in the morning yesterday and booked my room because I already have a table. So anyway, Isis says, hi, Henrik. Hey there, Isis. How are you? I hope you're doing very well. It's Friday. I hope everybody's excited. Friday is often the time when you get ready to rest. I will be working the weekend, but that's what I want to do. And that's kind of what this is all about. So I got thrust into going full time before I was ready. And it has been a fascinating journey. It's been insane to think I could do it for a living. And every year I'm more fascinated than the year before as to how I got through it. And especially with last year with COVID, somehow still keeping things going. And a lot of that has to do with you guys supporting me on Patreon, buying physical media from henflix.com, supporting the podcast I do, stuff like that. So thank you so much. I'll ruminate on that a little bit more, but now we actually have a chat going and I'd rather hang out with you guys. Saint Just Germany said, as a filmmaker, what is a movie mostly overlooked and underrated in your opinion? Well, one of the most underrated and underlooked movies of all time, in my opinion, is a movie called Eddie Presley. It's film directed by Jeff Burr, who's most famous for doing films like The Stepfather Part 2 and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, but it's an art film. It's a film about an Elvis impersonator played by Dwayne Whitaker, who you might recognize from Pulp Fiction. He's an Elvis impersonator who is following his dream even as the world tells him constantly, you can't do this, you won't do this, you're a loser. But he never truly gives up on his dream. He keeps going. And that movie came out in 1992. It came out on DVD in 98, or no, it was 2000 maybe. But that movie had a profound effect on me as a creative, and I think it's criminally underrated. So if you can get your hands on a copy of Eddie Presley, you should definitely watch it. I think it will change your life if you're a creative person. Also, another underrated movie that I really loved was Observe and Report with Seth Rogen. That's a little bit more modern. So if you get a chance, check out Observe and Report with Seth Rogen. I think that's a very, very underrated movie. So, but yeah, I'm just hanging out here with you guys for a little bit. I'm waiting on my lunch, and I thought, why not kick back and hang out with you guys? Every year, I either write a blog post or record a video or something talking about like, wow, it's been another year of making movies full time. I can't believe that I'm so fortunate. I'm smacked with being humbled and being shocked, and being, fascinated and being so proud, but also being just like terrified almost. Isis said that movie is hilarious. Observe and Report is so funny, and it also has such an honest attitude taken toward the mental health problems, that people have. And I think that's one of the reasons that movie works so well. So Observe and Report is a great film. I mean, it's like a comedy version of Taxi Driver, but that sounds crappy. The movie's actually very good. So, oh, here we go. Edward said, what do you think of Swimming with Sharks? Oh my God. Swimming with Sharks is a phenomenal movie. Oh my gosh. Who all's in that? It's Ed Norton and not Ed Norton. Oh, what is his name? But I know that, Kevin Spacey's in it and a few other actors. Swimming with Sharks is one of the best show business movies ever. And having now worked 7 years in show business, although a low rung of show business is always show business. Trust me. Frank Whaley. Thank you so much. Kevin Spacey and Frank Whaley. Thank you, Edward. Swimming with Sharks is a phenomenal film. Cannot recommend it enough. I own it on DVD, and I have a digital copy that I bought on Vudu that I watch often. Isis said, what's for lunch? What's for lunch? I like how I had to think about it. I'm like, jerk chicken, actually. I went Jamaican today, so I'm getting jerk chicken, beans and rice, and bread bites with garlic sauce. Saint Just Germany said, what's your take on The Man from Earth? I have not seen it. If you want to post in the chat a link to info about it, I might check it out. I'm not familiar with it. Feel free to drop some details in the chat and we can talk about it a little bit. Charles Campbell, very talented author. Charles Campbell just commented, so how about a little sneak peek or insight to what's going on in the next Babysitter Massacre book? Ooh, okay. So one of the things I've done during the pandemic to kind of keep things moving along while we wait for the Babysitter Massacre sequels to be able to be completed, which for those who don't know, Babysitter Massacre was the one of the first big hit movies I did, and now I'm making sequels to it. We started making books. I teamed up with a very talented author named David O'Hanlon, and we made, so far we've released, I have one of them right next to me. I don't have the other one right next to me, but we made Babysitter Massacre, Daddy's Little Killer, and we also made Babysitter Massacre, Family Splatters. They're the kind of thing you like, if you like that kind of thing. And we're coming out with the next one. It'll be coming out in about a month, and it's called Babysitter Massacre Camp Carnage. And it is definitely the kind of thing you like if you like that kind of thing. Believe you me. It's a 80s throwback style camping slasher story. It's got more elements of, I don't want to say Saw, but there's traps, there's trapping and traps and hunting of humans in it. So it's a little bit more of a different flavor of slasher movie. So Saint Just Germany said, Wiki, The Man from Earth is a 2007 American drama science fiction film written by Jeremy Bixby, who was a Star Trek writer. Oh, cool. Saint, then he said, I don't want to spoil too much, but it's free on YouTube. Okay, cool. I'm going to check that out. Thank you so much for recommending that to me. And John Dalton said, good reads. Thank you. Yeah, if I'm not here to sell anything, I just wanted to hang out for a minute and share with you guys my excitement and my honest, gratefulness that I get to do this for a living. You know, every time you buy something on Henflix.com, or every time you watch one of my movies on Tubi or Amazon Prime, or every time you listen to a podcast and send in a tip donation or whatever, or you may do, you're part of the reason I keep doing this. And not only doing this, but doing this with the veracity and the confidence that I have. It's because of you guys. And I really mean that. And my confidence was knocked around a little bit, thanks to COVID, thanks to being locked down. I didn't realize how much of my self-esteem was tied directly to work. But boy, was it. So between the COVID lockdowns slowing down filmmaking and then me actually getting COVID in January and having a very, very, very slow recovery, I'm very excited to say I am back in the director's chair right now, filming my 17th feature film as director. My 18th feature film as director is almost complete as well. And my next feature film focus is Babysitter Massacre 2, because it looks like we have finally opened up just enough that I can make the movie the way I want it to be, because Babysitter Massacre 1 is very special to me, very special place in my heart. You can rent it on Amazon or whatever if you haven't seen it. Babysitter Massacre, very special place in my heart because I made it from a place of wanting to prove myself. Babysitter Massacre 2 has to come from a special place as well because I'm finally ending that story. But it's going to come from a different place because back then I had everything to prove. Now I'm kind of where I am now, and I know exactly the story I want to tell. So anyway, Charles Campbell said, doing it very well. Thank you, sir. St. Just Germany said, another movie which is really not that well known is from Slovenia. It's called Class Enemy. Have you come across this one? I have not, but that sounds like the kind of thing that John Dalton in the chat has probably watched because he's very into kind of Eastern European cinema. But I'm not familiar with Class Enemy. I cannot say that I am. I'm not the biggest foreign movie guy, but I do like a good foreign movie. If I'm sent something, I'm gonna watch it. And I'm glad that I got over that. When I was younger, in my younger years, I was a little bit more adverse to subtitles, and I'm glad I got over that because, man, like watching Parasite, whew, what a good movie. So, or Train to Busan, stuff like that, especially the stuff that's been coming out of Asia is just so incredible. So, but yes, so to come to my point, yeah, I've actually been in the director's chair for the last few weeks, back in the director's chair, making a film. It's a film for a distributor. And it's a film that's allowing me to, keep the lights on, keep making movies, and get ready for the big Babysitter Massacre 2. So, and by the way, if you guys like podcasts and stuff like that, you should check out Weekly Spooky. So I guess I will, I'm going to plug this because I wasn't here trying to make any money, but if you guys want to, if you want to send a little kindness my way, why not? I'll turn on the thing. So there's my PayPal and Venmo. If you want to send me a little tip, I will put it directly towards my dinner budget for tonight. But you don't have to. In fact, I'm going to discourage it. I'll probably take it out right away. But today's very special. June 4th, I call it Independent Day because this is the day I became truly independent 7 years ago now. And that's mind-blowing. I remember when it was 5 years, I made a video about how it was so shocking. And now it's really getting mind-blowing. So if you're feeling generous and you want to do that, I won't turn down a free dinner. I'm going to be hanging out with some friends later. And then, of course, I'm up first thing in the morning and back to filming tomorrow. So Charles Campbell said, did you see A Quiet Place 2? I saw A Quiet Place 2 on Tuesday, and it was really, really good. It was super fun. Now, I will say, I don't fancy myself a film critic. I'm an easy audience. I like most movies I watch, at least to some extent. But A Quiet Place 2, that was a good time. I really enjoyed it. And I think anybody who liked the first one, especially, if you like the first one, you're definitely going to love the second one. Because it's not exactly more of the same, but it delivers. It definitely delivers. So, let's see what's going on with my lunch. Oh, good. It is running late, so I guess that means you guys get more time with me. Talk about casual, man. So I don't know, but no, yeah, I'm still kind of processing it. Getting to wake up every day and do relatively exactly what you want is a massive gift, and I'm very thankful for it. Although I will say, people always say like, wow, you have your dream job. And I'm like, yes, but remember, dreams and nightmares are like exactly the same. Some days the job is not a dream. Some days you're dealing with contracts and lawyers and investors, or you're dealing with, the egos of some of the people you're collaborating with. And it ain't that fun, but it beats working for a living. Saint Just Germany said, Class Enemy is about a German teacher in Slovenia who's new and very strict, thus unpopular. After an intense talk with one of the students, this student commits suicide. The teacher wants to keep on teaching, which agitates the class to confront the teacher with about the death. That sounds intense. That sounds really interesting. Wow. Charles S. DoorDash or Grubhub? I'm a DoorDash guy. I got the Dash Pass, baby. That's me. I'm the DoorDash guy. So... yeah. Oh, good. My food's still running late. not a huge praise for DoorDash after all. Oh, Jerry said, congrats, Henman. Thank you, Jerry. I still have trouble. I wake up and I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe this is my life. I've directed 16 features. This is my life. I can't believe this is my, impossibly messy office with just like legal contracts just laying everywhere. Cause this is how I work, folks. This is how I work. Isis says, I wish I lived closer so I could be in one of your movies. Don't even want money, just want to be on TV. Well, if you're ever in the Southwest Ohio region, you hit me up. St. Just Jeremy said, if you don't mind, let me share more movies I enjoy. Another movie I really like is A Monster Calls. Also very intense. Have you seen this one maybe? I have not, unfortunately. I'm not familiar with The Monster Calls. Sounds interesting. Jerry Roth said, not as late as the USPS with Media Mail. Man, Media Mail, your results will vary. I run a web store, henflix.com, and we mail stuff. I mailed out a Media Mail order to New Jersey on Tuesday, and they got it today. It really is unpredictable. Charles Campbell, have a great lunch. Keep doing what you do. Brother, can't stop, won't stop. You keep cranking out those books, okay? And thank you for your collaboration on Weekly Spooky. We got to do even more of that in the very near future. John Dalton, I wish I lived close enough to get some DoorDash. Well, you live out in the country. I wish I had 5 acres of farmland so I could go out back and just shoot guns and hang out and stuff. So, it's a wash. Isis, Pan's Labyrinth, Spanish movie with subtitles. Pan's Labyrinth is really good. It's excellent. A very, very good movie. Cannot deny that. So I'm going to celebrate today by hanging out with some friends. I'm having lunch right now by myself, and I think I'm going to crack this bad boy open. My Tremors 4K. Yeah. I'm going to crack this bad boy open and watch it while I eat lunch. And then after lunch, I'm meeting up with some friends. We're going to go hang out for a little while. I'm going to watch Joe Bob Briggs and then go to bed at a manageable time in order to be up for work tomorrow. Yeah, look at that 4K Ultra HD of Tremors. Love me some Tremors. St. Just Germany said, A Monster Calls is about a boy whose mother has cancer. Then a monster appears and tells him stories that are kind of connected to the psychological situation of the boy. I don't want to spoil again, but the movie has some wisdom to it, in my opinion. That's really interesting, actually. That sounds really cool. Let me see if I can find that. Jerry said, you rock, Hen. Always enjoy your stuff. Join the Dark Order. I don't know what the Dark Order part is a reference to, but yes. Oh, snap. After part 2, I lost track of Tremors. Well, first of all, Tremors 2 is possibly the greatest Tremors movie. But Tremors 3 is a lot of fun. Tremors 4, I actually enjoyed a lot revisiting it. I mean, it's Tremors in the Old West, and I like all of the further sequels. I believe there are a total of 7, or maybe it's 8 now. They're fun. Jerry Roth said, not doing the Iron Mutant challenge. I would love to stay up all night watching Joe Bob, but I have to be up at 7 in the morning to go to set. So the last few weeks while we've been shooting the movie, I just go to sleep. I lay down to go to bed like after the first film, unfortunately. As much as it pains me because I would rather sit up and watch Joe Bob Briggs all night. Believe you me. So I'm going to look up A Monster Calls and see if I can put that in my watch list on Amazon. That one sounds really, really good. Monster Calls. Oh, there it is. Yeah, A Monster Calls, 2016. Sigourney Weaver. I'm assuming that's the right one. Tell me if I'm wrong. Oh no, it's the right one. Add to watch list. I'm also gonna Class Enemy. That one I'm not finding on American Amazon, but I'll keep an eye out for it. Oh yeah, Jerry confirmed 7 movies in the Tremors series. Uh, okay, great. So I added that to my watch list, St. Just Germany. I'm going to watch that one. Ricky Davis, have you ever thought about doing a live show of Weekly Spooky? We've thought about it, but what we did was last summer when I was, when we were all like cooped up in our houses, I did this thing called Uncle Henny's Campfire Stories, which was basically live Weekly Spooky. I sat down with a book and read aloud for everybody live for tips and comments. And it was a lot of fun. I would like to bring it back sometime in the near future. I just don't know when I'll have the time to really dedicate, because it was a big production. I had like backdrops and special lighting and mics and everything, because I can never go halfway on anything. I always go way too far out. But that was like a live version of Weekly Spooky. It's tricky, the idea of doing like an actual live Weekly Spooky, because if you couldn't tell, like I put a lot of production into stuff. So when you listen to Weekly Spooky, it is very, very, very clear, very produced, very rehearsed. That's on purpose. So, Ray said Uncle Henny's got me through quarantine. I'm so glad that I could help with that. And I need to bring it back soon, even if just for a couple of nights here and there. It will come back. Let's see. And then, Ray said also, hi. Hello, Ray. Good to see you. Saint Just Germany said, Class Enemy, you cannot stream, The Man from Earth, as I said, is on YouTube. Do you like weird Japanese stuff? If so, I recommend Love Exposure. Just a warning, the movie is about 4 hours long. I don't know if I could get through 4 hours, but I do love weird Asian cinema. Jerry Roth said, I have the Blue of Tremors and the 7-pack DVD as I wanted bonus features on the other films. Sending a virtual piece of cake for you, my friend. We should get together this weekend via PS4 to celebrate your years in the film, and you are Jason first, of course. Maybe on Sunday. Holler at me on Sunday. I'll be home on Sunday. And then Ray said, I have my book. That is, we put out a book of original stories by Weekly Spooky authors. The big difference between Weekly Spooky and Uncle Henny's Campfire Stories is Uncle Henny's Campfire Stories were kid-friendly. We got a lot of people who said they really enjoyed kicking back with their kids and listening. So we made it a little different than before. Love Exposure is also free on YouTube with subtitles. Nice. Ray said, it's wonderful. Thank you, Ray. That was the first experiment I ever made in publishing books, and it went okay. It went all right. It went okay. Hopefully some more people grab the Babysitter Massacre books, which are not kid-friendly, not even vaguely, but I hope that people check those out too, because very proud of the work that David O'Hanlon and I have put into them. Jerry said, you getting the 4K of Dawn? I have the box set of Dawn of the Dead 4K. Is there another edition coming out, or are you talking about the newer, smaller edition? Because I got that first box set in 4K. Ray said, I'm so glad you did it, though. Thank you. No, I am too. Every time I've worked with these authors and collaborated has been a wonderful experience. I really enjoy it. So I've been very fortunate. I've been very fortunate to make movies and tell stories and get to interact with a lot of really cool people that I may have never met otherwise. Many of you guys I'm talking to, I'm very friendly with, and I would never know you if I hadn't been doing podcasts or movies or live streams or what have you. Ray said, okay, I'm gonna pop back out. I just want to say hi. Loves you all. Love you too, sweetheart. You have a great weekend, okay? I'm going to have to pop out here in a minute too, because eventually my jerk chicken is going to get here, and then I got to peace out. The entire idea is I was like, if I live stream, I don't, like, how will I know when to stop? Like, I can never shut up. So I was like, well, if it's timed by, my lunch arriving, then I'll have to stop when I have to stop. Jerry said, talking about the box set, I'm awaiting Martin on 4K. You are one of the most versatile filmmakers. Thank you. Yes, I have the box set of Dawn of the Dead. I wouldn't mind Martin on 4K. And thank you for the compliment about being versatile. That was one of the first things I learned when that kind of led me to becoming a filmmaker full time. I stopped being solely a horror movie director, and much to the malaise of a lot of people, if you want to learn who your real friends are and who your friends aren't, all you have to do is be successful, and you'll find out immediately who actually wants to see you do well and who actually would like to see you do less well so that they can feel good about themselves. And I don't like to be negative like this. I don't like to go into that stuff a lot, but there's plenty of people I grew up with. I came up with making movies who are too full of themselves to care, who have not watched my movies in like 8 years because they just don't care. And you know what? That's fine. They're allowed to not care about my work. is to watch their work, but that's because I am a sucker and a pushover. Jerry said, Jerk Chicken didn't know Dave was coming over. Ha! Take that, Dave. You're not even here to defend yourself. That's what you get. So yeah, but no, so I remember when I made my first comedy, which was Depression, the movie, my fourth film, people didn't say a lot. They were like, oh, he's got this artsy movie to make. But then the movie, I made Babysitter Massacre, and then the movie I made after that was A Bulldog for Christmas, which is a family comedy about a talking dog, which is on like Pluto TV and Tubi and Crackle. It's just everywhere to this day. It was an excellent decision to make that movie, but I remember getting people saying like, I don't know about all this and da-da-da. But then the people who actually like my work, like my movies, and like me were just like, hell yeah, let's see what you can do with this talking dog movie. So since then, I've made romantic comedies, I've made westerns, I've made all kinds of movies. I'm looking forward to what I'd really like to make now is like a straight thriller. I'd like to make something science fiction, maybe action, but action's really hard to do on a budget. But those are things I'm looking forward to in the near future. And speaking of which, the movie I'm making right now, it's a western. And if you're on my Patreon, you can see exclusive photos of it. I'll post the Patreon link in there just in case you need it. It's pretty easy to remember. It's patreon.com/incrediblyhandsome. So, but I'll just post that in there because on Patreon, I reveal all of the secrets. That's where all of like the photos from behind the scenes are and where all the podcasts about the making of the other podcasts are, because a podcast about making a podcast, it's like a turducken. It's like a duck inside a chicken inside a turkey. Jerry, have a great lunch, be well, and break a camera. Is that what you tell a director? No, you don't want to break a camera, and talk soon. Congrats again. Thank you so much, Jerry. You have a great one as well. I took down the tip jar, but if you really want to help buy me a little lunch or whatever, I'm not going to turn it down. So, let's see. Sean Gross said, keep doing what you do. Keep the dream alive. Every day, my friend. And I hope that whatever it is you love, I hope you're chasing it every day, at least a little bit. Even if you can only find 15 minutes a day to chase what you love, do it. Because those hours, those minutes add up to hours, and those hours add up to days. And one day you're going to wake up and you're going to realize it was time well spent. And that's something I've really learned. This year I turned 35. And that's something I've truly learned is any time spent towards passion is time well spent. Even if you end up struggling, even if you end up homeless for a little while, you can get through it if you follow passion, because passion is its own reward. 150% true. So on that note, my friends, I think I'm going to get out of here. My lunch should be here soon. I really enjoyed sitting and talking with you all. I'll try and do it again more often. Oh, hold on. Rick Pearson said, if you do decide to try your hand at science fiction, hit me up if you'd like to mess around with live on-set virtual sets and virtual production. Oh, well, I worked on with virtual sets and virtual production at my old job. Yeah, I would rather build sets, honestly. Because green screen is so... You really have to know what you're doing to get it to be great. And I'm always paranoid of that stuff. So I'm not an anti-CGI guy. That's the funny thing. A lot of people are anti-CGI. I love CGI. I just can't afford the good stuff. Matt Lake said, bon appetit. Thank you, Matt. I knew you were secretly a Frenchman, and now I truly know. So, but yeah, if you guys have anything else you want to say, feel free to comment, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. I appreciate all you guys hanging out with me. And until next time, wow, I'm like a week away from wrapping feature film number 17. You guys take care, and just thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Matt Lake said, take that back. No. Isis said, have a great day. You too, hun.